Hello everybody, it is Tom and welcome to another video. So, as most of you probably know, yesterday we had a pretty big announcement related to the world of Heartstopper. Mic's still on. So ever since Season 3 released, we have been waiting to hear some word from Netflix about renewing the show for Season 4. So given how frequently streaming platforms cancel amazing shows, especially amazing queer shows, regardless of how popular they are or how loyal their fan base is, a lot of us were pretty rightfully concerned that the renewal might just never come. But yesterday, it was announced that we will not be getting a Season 4 of the show. We will be getting a feature-length film, a movie, to tie up the end of the story and go through the events of the Nick and Charlie novella and the final volume of the graphic novel series. So most of the reactions I've seen to this have been positive, and Alice Oseman themselves seemed extremely happy and relieved to be able to announce this, which does suggest to me that Netflix was absolutely being a dick about renewing the show for Season 4. And the movie was something the Heartstopper production team probably had to fight for. So, the fact that we are getting more Heartstopper and we'll get a proper end to the show instead of, the just-in-case sort of closure ending we got to Season 3, definitely a good thing. But yeah, how is everybody feeling about this? So personally, I have some mixed feelings. I'm overjoyed that we're officially getting more Heartstopper, but I do feel a little bit cheated that we're getting, at most 2 or 2.5 hours instead of the full season, and maybe then a movie that the story deserves. On the other hand, I 100% trust Alice and the others on the team to do the story justice, even in this truncated form. So I think whatever we get will be good. I'm just sad about the stories and bits of character development and nice little moments that we won't get because of the shorter runtime. Also, apparently Kit and Joe are both going to be executive producers on the movie, which is very cool. And that will definitely be great for them in terms of, developing their careers and also allowing them to have a greater creative hand in the final chapter of these characters that they have breathed so much life into over the last few years. But yeah, I think overall I'm a little bit disappointed, mainly in the fact that in times like these, when, we need shows like Heartstopper the most, streaming platforms are still hesitating to give their full support to queer and trans stories. And, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Netflix was like, hey, we'd love to give you a Season 4. And Alice was like, no, it must be a movie. We cannot possibly do a Season 4. I don't know why Alice is French in this imagining. But, yeah, based on everything that not French Alice has said, both in public and on their Patreon, I'm pretty sure this was more Netflix trying to cancel the show and Alice and the team fighting to at least get a movie so they could finish the story. Anyway, what are your thoughts? So obviously I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie when it comes out, though it will be pretty bittersweet and frankly kind of bizarre knowing that it's the last Heartstopper media we're going to get. I mean, unless we go into Heartstopper, the college years, which, I know it wouldn't be the college years because it's the UK, but I'm saved by the bell. Anyway, there's also the fact that film versions of TV shows often feel different to the original show, and I'm fairly sure that won't happen here. Again, I trust Alice and the team, but you just never know. So it's an unknown. That is my confusing mixture of thoughts in regards to this development. Yeah, mostly very happy about it, looking forward to it, but I do feel a little bit robbed and definitely frustrated that Netflix wasn't willing to do more for a show that's of such high quality and so important and, frankly has been hugely successful on top of all that. So yeah, what are your thoughts? Feel free to drop them below. Just keep in mind the usual policy of being kind and respectful, and above all, and in all things, not being a dick. Okay. All right, that's going to do it for me. Huge thanks, as always, to our patrons who are amazing, spectacular, so, so wonderful. And a big shout out to our Nick Nelson members, Kelly Walker, Paul Z, Kim Engel, Kent Smither, Sarah Parker Schemmelt, Courtney McAlexander, and Tanya. All right, have a wonderful rest of your day or night or whatever time of day it may happen to be, and I'll see you next time. Okay? Bye.
When I get lost in a dream and I know I can't sleep, god damn it.